What's going on, Infected? It's Wolf of the Quarantine, and today I'm going to be taking a look at a game that was sent to me to review by the name of The Captain is Dead Lockdown from AEG. So if any of you guys watched my unboxing, I mentioned that I do not own The Captain is Dead. I used to own the original GameCrafter version, and I thought that I actually sold it, but evidently I had found it, and I do actually have the original GameCrafter version of the game. So, with that said, this is a standalone game, and the original game of The Captain is Dead, the players are basically in the last 5 minutes of a really bad episode of your favorite sci-fi show. The ship's on fire, everybody's dead, and you're just trying to not die and survive. Captain is Dead Lockdown takes place after that. Once you've repaired the ship and you've managed to get to warp and get out of there, you then wind up getting caught up to, and you are basically locked in an alien prison, and your job is now to leave. So in the beginning of a game of The Captain is Dead Lockdown, everybody is going to get a couple roll cards, and you're going to choose one of the different colors and then one of the different people in each color. For example, if you get dealt blue cards, you're going to choose one of those blue, but there cannot be any other blue. So if you choose the Admiral, I can't choose, say, the First Officer. I would have to choose somebody who is not blue, and so on and so forth. That way you have a good mix of players. And then all the players start off in the infirmary. All of the locations around the board are completely disabled, unlike, the original Captain is Dead. And your job is to fully charge the escape room or the shuttle bay, fully charge it, and get out. Now that's going to be super difficult to do because nothing around the ship works for you because you're a captive. So you're going to be using on your cards, or on your little character cards, it shows actions. It has little symbols to show how many actions you get. And usually it's about 4, maybe 5, and on the back of the card, it tells you what you can spend those actions on. And those are going to be such as moving, or maybe attacking, or activating a room, or reactivating a room, or disabling a room, or whatever. But throughout the course of the game, anytime you end your turn and an alien were to, say, enter your room, they escort you back to the infirmary, or later on in the game, they might wind up just killing you. They're tired of you breaking out. So when you do all this, you're going to be going around the ship, and you're trying to, maybe activate the internal scanners so you can check the crises cards, because crises cards come out at the end of every player's turn, and they just do really crappy things and spawn a bunch of enemies. And so you're going around trying to disable all of the aliens and charge everything. Now, whenever you kill an alien, it's automatically going to increase or decrease your concealment level. So at first you start out with 100 concealment, and throughout the course of the game, if you ever hack a location, if you ever kill an enemy, if one of the aliens hack the terminal that you already cleared up, and they hack it, basically you hack it back shut, it goes down again. And there's a couple other alternative ways that it goes down, but if that ever drops all the way to the bottom to set to kill, at that point, if you ever get escorted back to the infirmary, instead you're killed and removed from the game. You can wind up respawning if you wind up raising that skill level, but that's for the most part going to be kind of how you play this game. Every round you're just going to take these different actions, and you're all going to be working together and communicating about how you're going to spend your actions efficiently, how you're going to spend your cards. Do you go into the security, the central security area so you could draw more cards, so that way you can then help people? Do you just try to beeline to, crowd control, start killing people, but that's going to lower your concealment? Or do you go to the monitoring room and recharge that concealment because you don't want people to start dying? And so there's just a lot of back and forth and a lot of things that you can do. Now there's a few extra rooms that allow you to have a plan card, basically. Is they just give you special abilities and they let you do fancy things. But anytime that concealment drops, you get contraband. Now contraband is an interesting mechanic in this game. Contraband, if that ever goes down, you're going to draw a contraband card. That contraband card is for your eyes only. You're not allowed to discuss it or anything. If you ever do, you lose it with no effect. And basically what these generally do is they allow you to do things outside of your turn that's good for you guys. So maybe while you're doing your turn, I can go, all right, I'm going to do this and drop it on your turn to help you out while you're trying to do something else. There's no reason to not use these. Use them as often as you get them and as often as you can, but hold on to them to when you do actually need them. But again, you're just going to be doing this until you can fully charge the shuttle bay, and then everybody needs to be in the shuttle bay, and you are going to be declared the winner. You're still one of the alien ships, and you get the hell out of Dodge. So what do I think about the game? Well, like I mentioned, I wound up finding my original copy of The Captain is Dead. It's a little beat up. I got it from the GameCraft version. This was before AEG wound up picking it up. And I thoroughly enjoy the original one. It's a very, very difficult game to play. I think we've only ever won once or twice, but it's a very fun game. I love the theme. I'm a big Star Trek nerd, and I love everything about The Captain is Dead. It's just a painfully difficult game, but it's possible. We've won a couple times. I want to say 2, maybe 3 times we've won. So I came into Captain is Dead Lockdown kind of stoked because I love the theme. I like the original one. From what I understand, I guess there's another smaller expansion for Captain is Dead. I've never played it. I like the component upgrades, the little laser cut plastic pieces. Those are phenomenal. I love them. However, they all don't like to fit in their base. I had to actually super glue some of them in because no matter how hard I tried, they would just pop right back out of the bases. So AEG's bases that they're using for these, they don't like to stay in. So I was pretty stoked. So when we sat down, we set it all up, and the fact that, it's almost a stark contrast of the original Captain is Dead, because the original Captain is Dead, everything starts off active, but then you do the first 5 cards similar to this one, and you wind up breaking the systems that it tells you to break, and then you go into the game. So, your transporter may be down the first turn, which really sucks. Or the draw deck is broken. It's all in the discard, so now you have to go and fix that. But sometimes it may not be. Whereas this one, everything is shut down. It's just, everything is horrible, nothing likes you, the game just wants to chew you up and spit you back out. And unfortunately, I think that's my biggest problem with this game, is the original Captain is Dead is already a very, very difficult game. It's very fun, but it's a very difficult game. And they basically just took that and just made it way harder. We realized that we had lost the 4th turn into the game pretty much every time we played it. I've played this game about 3 times, and I think the furthest we got was about 6 or 7 turns into turns into the game before we realized I highly doubt there's any way we're ever going to do this. It's just insanely difficult when compared to the original Captain is Dead. The original Captain is Dead is very difficult, but you feel like you might have a chance. If you're lucky, you may be able to make it. Whereas this, we never got out of yellow alert. We were basically set to kill right out of the gates because where everything starts off broken, it's so hard to just get that initial foothold. Getting that is already insanely difficult in the original Captain is Dead, let alone here where it's just even harder. And if everybody wound up getting just crappy types of cards to start with, good luck. You're probably screwed. And then the rulebook leaves a lot to the imagination. While reading through the rules, there were a lot of things that just aren't covered. I wound up, for example, one of the things that I wasn't 100% sure on, in the original Captain is Dead, all of the rooms are the locations that you go to. Whereas this, I wasn't sure if rooms and the hallways were considered the room locations. So when counting movement, I wasn't sure if you go through the hallways or if it's just rooms and you can only go from the room to your left or to your right. I couldn't figure out how all of that worked, and it didn't mention that specifically in the rulebook anywhere, except during the hostile alien phase, can see on it where it shows how they move, and it labels the hallways as one move and all the corner rooms and the rooms and everything as another move. So that's kind of how I had to determine, okay, well, so the hallways are considered a space. All right, cool. And there's a few other examples that are like that are it really should have clarified a couple things in the rulebook. For example, a good rulebook is going to give you a breakdown. What happens at the beginning of your turn? This is your the whatever phase, your action phase. This is where you perform all these actions. These are the type of actions you do. During the end phase, this is what happens. During this phase, you do this. During this phase, you do this. Then the rest of the rulebook will break that down in further detail, and that's generally the sign of a good rulebook, in my opinion. Whereas this, it doesn't do that. There is no turn breakdown. You have like a sentence or two that's just like, you do this, 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 and this, and then it's the next person's turn. And I was like, okay, I need a little bit more. Like, okay, so what happens during this phase? When, for example, I wasn't 100% sure if I was supposed to draw alert cards before the alien movement phase, or if I did that first and then drew the alert phase. It wasn't really clear, and there's just a lot of instances like that in the rulebook, which is a shame because I've played AEG frequently sends me things to review, and I've played numerous AEG games, and they're usually really good with their rulebooks. Just this one, I think they skipped a beat here because the rulebook is just missing quite a bit. So in conclusion, the quarantine I cannot recommend Captain is Dead Lockdown, which is a bummer because I really wanted to. I love the components and everything. I recommend, and again, AEG has the original one as well, so obviously yours is going to be nicer than this. But I recommend pick up the original Captain is Dead. The original Captain is Dead is a fantastic game. It hates you, it hates your family, it hates everything, but it at least feels like it's possible. Whereas this, a few turns in, you're already looking down the barrel of a loaded gun, basically, and you're going, I don't see how we can do this. And I mean, with more plays, of course, it'll probably get a little bit easier, but it's unpleasantly difficult, which is part of the problem. It just feels unfair a lot of the time. So yeah, I definitely do not recommend the Captain is Dead Lockdown. If everything about it sounded interesting, pick up the original Captain is Dead. If you already have the original Captain is Dead, just keep playing that one. I was not a fan of Lockdown. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys next time in the quarantine.